equality from very young age. It demands that we should silence or eliminate those cultural things that inhibit our approach to gender-based violence. We must ensure that the perpetrators face justice and survivors receive the support they deserve. As we unite today, the fight against violence should be inclusive, recognizing and addressing the unique challenges faced by of different backgrounds, ethnicities, and socio-economic status that are made vulnerable to gender-based violence. I'll employ us to use today as a united front as we build a future where equality and justice will prevail. And therefore, on behalf of the chairperson, Her Excellency, Executive, the wife of Executive Governor of Kwara State, but of all of us here, it's going to be a day to remember. But please, I beg you, I request, I insist that we must keep and sit where we're supposed to be sitting. The program is in progress. We must be able to sit our VIPs noiselessly in such a way that we are not disrupting the flow of the show. My name is Bojima Pojola, and I'm very, very happy to be here. And I hope that we will springboard to action from here so that indeed Nigeria that represents the Black world will indeed be in the forefront of eliminating and ensuring that we are violence-free, particularly our children, our women. And this is most sadly most of our boys. So I would like to start quickly by inviting our own energetic, our own action-led chairperson of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. She has been here to ensure that, as a diplomat that she is, things are put in place. As a scholar that she is, all that we need to ensure and enrich ourselves today will be offered as sweet and dynamic as they can. I want to especially recognize that for the first time, the FCT, we have a mandate office for women affairs. And I think we should applaud this administration for bringing that to fore. Without wasting too much of your time, I'd like to call the chairperson, Her Excellency, Professor, Ambassador, Dr. Abdurazak, who will welcome us. Yes, please welcome her warmly to the microphone. Not good enough. Thank you. Louder.
Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see them all in this array of orange, and all those that have not been compliant, we're going to find you before you leave here today. So I'd like to welcome you to the fourth in the series of the Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum annual conference on SG. His Excellency, the Governor of Kwara State and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak. Thank you for being here. Your Excellencies, First Ladies of all the various states of Nigeria, my dear colleagues, good to see you. The Chairperson of our Board of Trustees, Her Excellency Irinu Bisi Fayemi, good morning. Thank you for being here. The wife of the Chief of Staff, Hajia Salamatu Bajabiamila, wife of the Secretary to the Federation, the wife of the National Security Advisor, thank you for being here, and representatives of the Honorable Ministers for FCT and Police Affairs, thank you for joining us this morning. Our able diplomatic corps, the French Ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Emmanuel Blackburn, Your Excellency, the United Resident Coordinator, the United Nations Resident Coordinator, Mr. Matthias Smiley, the United Nations Women Countries Representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS, the UNICEF Representative to Nigeria, all the various High Commissioners and Deputy High Commissioners here, the Deputy British High Commissioner, Ms. Jill Atkinson, representative of the Republic of Benin Ambassador, the USAID Mission Director, Mrs. Melissa Jones, the Director General, Nigeria Governors Forum, Mr. Ashtana Paru, the Director of MacArthur Foundation, Dr. Kuli Shetima, the Ford Foundation Regional Director for West Africa, and all other executives here present. The Ford Executive Director for Counter Trafficking Center, Harry Pemberton, our amiable panelists for this special occasion, and they are so wonderful to us and special to us. We have in the list Mr. Joker Silva, Mr. Nika Wedu, who else can I see? Banke Kuku, and all the others. I'm sure they're on their way. Distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor and a great pleasure to welcome you, Excellencies, and our esteemed guests and participants to the occasion of the 4th annual conference of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. I commend members of the forum for all our laudable and impactful interventions to support the efforts of our spouses in our respective states. The Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum has in the last 4 years actively engaged in advocacies and plausible engagements, partnerships and collaborations towards ensuring that Nigerian women and girls are positioned to harness their full potential while leading sensitization and awareness to mitigate concerns of sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. Notably in this drive, the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum amplified advocacies that led to the declaration of the state of emergency on sexual and gender-based violence by the Nigeria Governors Forum, owing to the spike in incidents of sexual and gender-based violence during the lockdown occasioned by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Consequent upon this, a policy dialogue with state governors was convened by the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum in December 2020 at Transcorp Hilton Hotel to present a compendium of activities of the forum and a work plan to the public. This event marked the maiden edition of the annual conference of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. Keenly focused on fulfilling its own commitments as contained in the communique issued at the maiden conference, the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum, among other things, expedited action for the passage of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, provided leadership for state gender-based violence coordinating mechanisms in our respective states, expanded our areas of influence to include drug abuse eradication, cancer awareness, economic empowerment, menstrual hygiene, and increased number of sexual assault referral centers, as well as shelters for women and children. Sustaining this drive, the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum in December 2021 held the second annual conference with the theme Sustaining Action on the State of Emergency Against Sexual and Gender-Based Violence, where our partners and participants created pathways to addressing sexual and gender-based violence in the country. The 2022 edition of the conference saw all of us present to the public a comprehensive report of all our activities and other publications of the forum from 2020 to 2022. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, permit me to use the occasion of this event to share with you the recent transition of the forum from the Nigeria Governors' Wives Forum to the Nigeria Governors' Spouses Forum. This shift reflects our steadfast commitment to inclusivity and equality, acknowledging the invaluable contributions of every spouse in the governance and development of our state. So this is our very first time of using this term, Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. As we continue to observe the global 16 days activism against gender-based violence, you will agree with me that it has become imperative to foster intergenerational collaboration and understanding. Hence the theme of the 2023 conference, Youth Allies, Bridging Generations to End Violence, gives credence to our resolve to continue to deepen engagement, collaboration, and partnerships. It is in this regard that I warmly welcome you all to the 4th annual conference of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum as a partner in fostering a more equal world, one that is devoid of discrimination and stereotypes. On this occasion of the 4th edition of the conference of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum, we thank you all for joining us. We thank the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, His Excellency Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak, CON, and all members of the forum for their immense support. We thank all other people here, especially our development partners, who have been with us for a while now and continue to assist us in all that we do. The Nigeria Governors Forum, UN Women, Ford Foundation, MacArthur Foundation, UNICEF, the British High Commission, Save the Children, Baobab for Women, Westminster Foundation for Democracy, and all our other collaborating partners. To all our speakers and resource persons, we say thank you and welcome for choosing to share your experiences with us and expertise. Together, we can make the world a much safer place for women, girls, and the youth, and indeed humanity. We welcome all the women, girls, and youth who have graced this occasion, and we welcome all the various delegations from all the various states. You are the ones walking the talk in our communities and at the grassroots, and we thank you for your service. It is hoped that this conference will achieve the bridging of generations and fully involve the youth in this advocacy, as the percentage of cases of SGBV is highest in the youth. Our message, therefore, is totally relevant to them and overdue for action. Thank you so much, Your Excellencies. I wish you all a pleasant stay here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the chair of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. The first time that we are gotten that publicly. I think all the women, the first ladies that have made this possible deserve a very loud round of applause. Because what you do not know is, we are hoping by 2027, one will have female governors so that their husbands can also be part of this group. Thank you. Thank you. I know that I can assure you that if there's a state that will beat everybody to eat, I know that it's Kwara State. Thank you. Because Kwara is leading with women in governance. Thank you so very much, and thank you for the background that was needed for us to understand why we're all here today. We'll move on quickly to goodwill messages. Please may I just appeal that goodwill messages will be maximum of 3 minutes. 3 minutes. The protocol has been established. You don't have to go through front of the protocol. Please just to make it less than 3 minutes. I would very much appreciate that. And I can assure you that I would give something special to whoever falls within 1 minute 30 seconds and 2 minutes. The present I will discuss with the chairperson, or the award will discuss with the chairperson later today. Quickly, She is getting ready for another assignment, but this assignment is important to her. She is the chairperson of the Board of Trustees of Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum. She's energetic. She's who you know she has been. The Relu, I dare to say that sharing her wrapper, as we all as women, we tend to share our wrappers, come rain, come sunshine. And today she's going to share that wrapper here and head straight to the airport where she's going to do another assignment. Welcome with me, Her Excellency, the former First Lady of Ekiti State, Relu Lapisi Fayemi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Timothy. Your Excellency, Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, the Executive Governor of Kwara State, and Your Excellency, my dear sister, Ambassador Olufolake Abdulrazak, Chair, Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum. Through you, I acknowledge all my sisters here, my former colleagues, First Ladies of states across Nigeria, all spouses of top government officials who are present, all ministers, National Assembly members, state delegations, our development partners, our participants and resource persons at this conference. Good morning to you all. Good morning. It gives me great pleasure to be here this morning as we mark our fourth conference as Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum. If you remember, for those of you who have been on this journey with the forum, we started out as Nigerian Governors Wives Against Gender-Based Violence when we invited you to this room in 2020. And that was because it was just for a handful of governors' wives who had expressed an interest in working on GBV issues. And then when it became apparent that every first lady felt that they had a role to play, we decided to make it a flagship program of Nigerian Governors Wives Forum. And recently, in light of the obvious gaps in our democratic processes, which has still made it impossible to have a woman as governor, we are quite happy to be governors' wives, but it would actually be nicer and will be better role models for the coming generation if you could have women as governors as well. So we are looking forward to a time where we will have women who are members of the Nigerian Governors Forum. And so the current group of first ladies decided to change the name to Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum. I would like to congratulate you, Ambassador Olufolake Abdulrazak, Chair of the Forum, for all the wonderful things you have done and for keeping the flag flying. I am so proud of you, and I'm proud of all my sisters. You can be assured of my ongoing support and solidarity. To all our partners who have been on this journey with us, especially the Ford Foundation, MacArthur, and the British Foreign Affairs UK, all of you who have been part of this journey, please let us continue to work together to invest in women and girls to end sexual and gender-based violence, as the theme for this year's 16 days of activism suggests. And Your Excellency, Governor Abdulrazak, thank you for being a role model for other governors. We would like you to please continue to deliver our messages to them. That we expect all of them, all your colleagues, because it's great for us to single out outliers like Kwara State, Lagos State, I'm not being selfish. But we would like all the states of the Federation to take sexual and gender-based violence seriously and to take the empowerment and the upliftment of women seriously. And we know that you're capable and this is a task that will be done. Enjoy the conference, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency.
Well, I don't know why we are very miserly with the applause. I think the applause should be. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Quickly, we'll go straight to other goodwill messages. I wonder if we have the representative for the Minister herself, the Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, Barrister June Kennedy. She here? Right, we'll call her when she does come in. Do we have the Honorable Minister for Youth, Dr. Jamila? Right? Right, well, we'll let them speak when they do arrive. Next, I'm going to call on a man that has identified himself the growth and development of Nigerian women, and by extension, also the youths. He's so Nigerian because I see that he's outfit, except that we should make him to wear the cap so that makes it very, very complete. That's on the very light side. But importantly, here is a man that has shown such great devotion and commitment as UN resident and humanitarian coordinator in Nigeria since he came on board. Please welcome with me for his goodwill message, Matthias Shimali, UN resident and humanitarian coordinator. So we need to donate an orange cap.
Thank you. Since I'm speaking on behalf of 20 UN agencies, I have 20 times 3 minutes. No, I'm just joking. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stand on the established protocol, of course, in recognizing the power couple from our state. And on behalf of the UN in Nigeria, I would like to thank in particular Her Excellency, the Chair, Ambassador Professor Rufolaki Abdul Razak, for this opportunity to participate in your annual conference. Allow me to start also by saluting the Nigeria, as it's now called, Governor Spouses Forum for Combating Violence Against Women and Children. We've already heard from Her Excellency, the Chair, that during the escalation of violence during the COVID-19 pandemic, the then called Governors' Wives Forum led the calls for a state of emergency against sexual and gender-based violence. We also appreciate that you're convening this conference during the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Forgive me for not wearing orange today. Violence against women and girls remains one of the most prevalent and pervasive human rights violations in the world. In fact, we know that in Nigeria, the demographic and health survey suggests that 30% of Nigerian women and girls aged 15 to 49 have been victims of sexual violence. So our Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, rightly said this week, I quote, "Violence against women is a horrific violation of human rights, a public health crisis, and a major obstacle to sustainable development." Allow me to also, Your Excellencies, to address you as mothers and note that another form of violence against children is child labor. The incidence of child labor in Nigeria has been on the rise in recent times, unfortunately. The Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment in 2022 last year puts the figure at more than 15 million children in child labor. Our colleagues in the International Labour Organization are supporting some concrete initiatives, such as the Accelerated Action for the Elimination of Child Labor, and we could share more if you're interested. We would like to suggest to you as First Ladies that points of actions could include that you play a role in ensuring the adaptation and implementation of the National Action Plan against for the elimination of child labor. We also ask you to advocate for the passage of the revised labor standard bill, which includes a revised minimum age that protects the rights of all children. I think we also heard from Her Excellency the Chair that drugs is another issue affecting children, and we have colleagues in the UN, for example, UNODC, working on preventive programs in this regard, for example, with the Federal Ministry of Labor. We will work in close cooperation with the federal government to implement our cooperation framework for sustainable development that covers a 5-year period. We're at the end of the first year, 2023, but it will run through to 2027. At the heart of this cooperation framework are several transformative initiatives, that move beyond the business as usual approach towards high impact action. Now, one of the 6 transformative initiatives is in fact to scale up the fight against violence against women and girls, to scale up that fight. And our lead agencies, UN agencies on this issue, UN Women and UNFPA, believe that game-changing action in this regard could be to significantly increase women's access to justice and to more speedily and at scale bring perpetrators of violence to justice and into jail. In this respect, we're very appreciative of the Minister of Women Affairs initiative to establish more mobile courts around the country. Almost at the end, we must leave no one behind. And another one of our 6 prioritized initiatives is to significantly reduce the number of 20 million children out of school. We think the game changer in this aspect could be to significantly increase the access of vulnerable children to digital learning opportunities. Our colleagues in UNICEF, for example, are working on this. Finally, let me touch on the transformative initiative to ensure greater coverage of primary health care for all. Our WHO colleagues are suggesting that the game changer in this respect would be to bring millions of people into health insurance coverage. Everyone has a role to play, including the young people. We appreciate your theme. Everyone must be on board to rescue the SDGs for all people, including people living with disability. We must act now for a better and safer future. I salute the important leadership you provide as First Ladies in realizing the full development potential of this region. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. I with this appreciate the RC and also appreciate all members of the UN family. I know the UNFPA Deputy Rep is here, UNICEF. Can we please take a bow? Members of the UN family, can you take a bow? We've spoken on your behalf. Yes. All right. We'll move on quickly. I'd like to invite the USAID Mission Director, Melissa Jones. Are you here? Or the representative?
Thank you so much. Melissa Jones is the Mission Director for the United States Agency for International Development. She sends her regrets. My name is Sarah Worth, and I'm the Deputy Mission Director. So Your Excellency, First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Olurimi Tinubu, Your Excellency Olufakale Abdul Razak, First Lady of Kwara State, Honorable Ministers and distinguished guests. Thank you so much for this invitation. It is such an honor to be here today to exchange ideas on the important topic of sexual and gender-based violence. The collaboration that the United States government has with the government of Nigeria, and particularly with the 36 state governments and FCT, is an essential catalyst for development. The United States Agency for International Development has long had a close relationship with state governments, and we are working together to tackle the many challenges of today to improve the lives of all Nigerians. The accomplishments of the governor's spouses, both as individuals and as a collective, are truly an example for other nations to follow. It was such a pleasure to meet this group recently and share our common values and common development goals. I am proud to say that, like the Nigeria Governor's Spouses Forum, USAID reaffirms that gender equality and women's and girls' empowerment are fundamental for the realization of human rights and key to effective and sustainable development outcomes. For societies to thrive, women and girls, men and boys, must have the agency, social support, and structures to make their own choices and live free from violence and abuse. They must have equal rights and opportunities, as well as safe access to and control over resources. Only by addressing these issues and applying a gender-sensitive approach can we eliminate the root causes of gender-based violence. USAID has trained over 7,500 government and private health service personnel on post-GBV service provision, referrals, and youth reproductive health services. In addition, USAID adapted the global No Means No initiative to Nigeria and is now working with community-based organizations to deliver the proven No Means No sexual violence program to youth. This includes self-defense classes and working with boys and girls to create a culture of mutual respect. USAID also recognizes the importance of supporting adolescent girls and young women who are at higher risk of substance abuse, gender-based violence, and chronic poverty. Providing psychosocial support as well as vocational and scholarship programs is imperative to their well-being. These programs provide girls and women with alternatives and coping mechanisms to help guide them away from economic hardship and the sentiments of isolation. While we are proud of these accomplishments, we know there is so much more to do, and we look forward to discussions today and determining how we can best work together and leverage Nigeria's ample youth resources and your leadership to end gender-based violence. Thank you so much for your time and dedication.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the support and the continued support that you have alluded to in this speech. We'll move now to the Canadian High Commissioner, His Excellency Jamie Christophe, who would speak to us, or his representative. Please, can we just welcome these notable people who are supporting the cause of stopping SGB in Nigeria. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm I'm Chief Ahadu. I'm the head of development cooperation at the Canadian High Commission. Unfortunately, the High Commissioner is out of the country. So it is a privilege to be speaking with you today as we continue to move through the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which demanded this year is invest to prevent violence against women and girls. And it's also an honor to be here with you today, as it's not my first meeting with the Governor's House Forum, and we had the opportunity to discuss topics of common interest. Real pleasure. So as we know, SGBV can take different forms, and it continues to be a challenge across the world, and especially here in Nigeria. And as Canada, we are committed to tackling the different manifestations of SGBV in Nigeria, whether it be sexual abuse, physical, mental, economic abuse, as well as material, forced early and forced marriage, the denial of opportunity for resources here in Nigeria. Obviously, Canada recognizes through its feminist international assistance policy that supporting gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls is the best way to build a more peaceful, inclusive, and prosperous world. Our support includes here in the country a comprehensive approach that addresses social norms and inequalities that are at the root causes of sexual and gender-based violence. We work towards increasing education to the girl child and to the men and boys who are at the core of what is affecting the society. We work as well to strengthen the health system and facilitating social norm changes and building the capacity of women's rights organizations, as well as encouraging women's participation in politics and in other By these efforts, we hope to amplify the voices of those striving to advance gender equality in Nigeria, not only because it is the right thing to do, but also because it benefits everyone in the society. I would also like to take this opportunity to highlight the progress that has been made and recognize the very important work that has been done by the Nigeria governor's spouses in doing, which the work that the forum has been doing, which led to the declaration of the state of emergency against sexual and gender-based violence, which was recognized throughout the world in 2020, and which has contributed to increasing the number of states that domesticated the path, as well as expanding efforts towards combating right now the drug abuse. I would also like to recognize today today's high-level policy dialogue is the key platform for gathering diverse stakeholders, such as different organizations, experts, participants, etc. And it's wonderful to see all of us here today to discuss these very important issues. Last point is that I would like to appreciate the team of this year's conference, which is Youth Allies Bridging Generation and Violence, as it really touches on an incredibly important topic, which is the role of the youth and the intergenerational collaboration and sexual and gender-based violence. So on this, I would like to thank you very much for inviting us to this important discussion. And I'm very pleased to provide and to demonstrate our support to the governor's spouse forum today by our group.
Thank you, Canadian partners. We'll move straight now to the Deputy British High Commissioner, Her Excellency Mrs. Jill Atkinson. I want that applause to have some measure of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge and welcome with pleasure the presence of the Honourable Foreign Minister. And then, if you'll allow me to get the protocol wrong, I would like to thank Her Excellency Professor Ambassador Olufalaye Abdul-Razak in her role as the chair of the Nigerian Governor's Spouses Forum, and accompanying her His Excellency the Governor of Kwara State. This is my final appearance here in Nigeria as British Deputy High Commissioner, but it gives me particular pleasure to attend this event, which is something that has been of key importance to me in my 4.5 years here. It says in part of the programme that I'm Dr. Richard Montgomery. You may have noticed I'm not. I am here representing myself, him, and the whole of the British High Commission. I'm not going to give you all the statistics. We'll hear those. They're awful, but they're real. And I think sometimes we come to events like this and we think that sexual and gender-based violence, violence against youth, are things that affect other people. But they're things that perhaps affect your friends and colleagues, the women in your office, your nieces, your nephews, your sisters, and perhaps worse, your daughters. So to me, the initiative that you have taken in developing the Nigeria Governor's Spouses Forum is particularly important because you are making a difference. Your role, your ownership, and your imperatives in this important subject are ones which are seeing genuine ownership. And I hope you'll forgive me for saying this. You may not yet be the governor, but you do know the governors, you do have influence on them. And we are seeing change as a result of your work. I think, though, one of the things we should all remember is that part of the reason for this conference is the role of youth allies in this area. And I hope that one of the things that we can all take away from this conference is the outstanding work which is done by the governor's spouses, but also the work I'm sure you can do to foster the role of youth, to foster the role of grassroots, and to see how it is that NGOs, CSOs, local fora can partner with you to make a difference in each of your states. I know I'm on 3 minutes, so I will be good. But just before I leave, I wanted, if only one minor success in my 4.5 years here, to say that it was me at this last event that suggested that maybe we should be the Nigerian Governor's Spouses Forum. So you can imagine, seeing this up here, I've achieved something in Nigeria. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen, accompanying. And I look forward to hearing more of your work, even for local. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We need to give her a very loud round of applause as she takes a bow from the mission. I hope you've had a good time and that the memories of Nigeria will resonate happiness each time you look back. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Quickly, I'd just like to bring to your notice that we have here joining us the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Tuga is here with us, I've been informed. And I also have one of my favorite honorable member who ensured that today we have what is manageable by cancer patients to be able to access for treatment when needed. He ensured that the bill became law, and today he is also working in an environment that we need to also collaborate with, especially as we speak to gender-based violence. Welcome with me the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Honorable Dr. Sununi. You're welcome. Oh, it's not here. Okay. Sorry, I had the wrong information. However, Your Excellency, the Foreign Affairs Minister, you're welcome, sir. And how do you make this trip? I thought I saw you somewhere on TV and you're here. You must have a special jet, and all in the collaborative effort where we intend to build a future without violence and in any form for our children, for our women, for our girls, for our boys indeed. We're moving on still with goodwill messages. I'd like now to call on the Ford Foundation Regional Director for West Africa, Ms. Catherine Chinidom Anyokoye, who would address us now. Of my sister, the Nigerian office director, will be the one to address us, and she deserves a very loud round of applause because at the very beginning of this, she had always been here. So much. Thank you. Thank you all.
Good morning, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to stand on the report and by the moderator. I would like to thank the Nigerian Governor's Club for the opportunity to be a part of this annual event that Ford has started, which shows the commitment of our first ladies to end gender-based violence. My name is Olufoke Barua, and I'm the program officer for Gender, Racial, and Ethnic Justice. Greetings once again from the Ford Foundation, Office of West Africa, where we focus on improving the lives of those at the society. We work with missionaries on the front lines of social change by disrupting systems to advance social justice and to do this with best and transformative ideas for individuals and institutions across line program areas. In West Africa, we focus on two primary areas, two priority areas, natural resource and climate change, and gender, racial, and ethnic justice. In particular, focusing on ending gender violence. Our commitment to gender inequality comes through our focus on prevention as a response to gender-based violence by shifting social, cultural, and religious norms that tacitly encourage violence, particularly against women and girls. We all know that gender-based violence remains one of the worst forms of human injustices that affect men and women, with great consequences, particularly for women and girls across the world. We know that violence not only emasculates its victims, but also robs of agency, voice, and power, unless we stop it. Several factors have been profiled as the cause for GBV, including culture, religion, patriarchy, and of course, gender inequality. So that's why today we are here at this dialogue on sexual and gender-based violence organized by the Nigerian Governors Forum with the theme Youth Allies, Bridging Generations to End Violence. I believe sincerely that this theme is very apt, given that our country has a very huge youth population. And with this in mind, any prevention or response programs or strategies for addressing gender-based violence must take into consideration this youth population and engagement with everyone across generations, age, and gender. The Ford Foundation's partnership with the Forum therefore is based on the mutual understanding that First Ladies have both the voice to influence policies, laws, and practices, and they also sit in a place of power and influence where they can shift the narrative around gender-based violence at the subnational level, at the state level, and also at the community level. And we continue to see this influence getting also to the federal and the national level. And we're happy that the First Ladies continue to prioritize gender-based violence as one of the issues that are very dear today. I want to thank you also for once again for this opportunity to speak and all the best as we do our own part of the bargain to end gender-based violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. We are moving on quickly. He does his work quietly, but his one man determination to achieve, and that's what he has done with the position that he has been on since the creation of the Nigeria Governors Forum. The Director General, Mr. Okaru, will now address us. Please let's welcome him very, very warmly. Very, very warmly indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to acknowledge our chairman here, and also top chairman. I want to also acknowledge the presence of Excellency and then of course, we must also acknowledge Secretariat, we have three points to make. One, to basically acknowledge the work so far done, and the fact that we continue from where your principles stop. And then to pledge support of the Secretariat, I promise. And then, of course, to confirm that also guide, advise the chairman in terms of those prioritizing meetings. And then finally, I want to make a note of caution. It's important to ensure this goes beyond our project. And I think because more to what we're trying to accomplish.
Last part for me is the best part. Cascading what we are doing here to the subnational level so that everyone has this message as we continue in the collective and collaborative fight to eliminate sexual-based violence, particularly against the youth. Before we go on, I'd like to recognize that we have here His Excellency Cole MNI, who is able to monitor. You're welcome. We'll have next on the line of goodwill messages, Reverend Dr. Carrie Pemberton, Court, Executive Director of Counter Trafficking Center. Do we have Dr. Pemberton here, Court?
Pemberton.
Is that to come by way of message online?
Yes.
Right. I'd also like to recognize that for women is a continuum. Thank you. Yes. You are online and can we listen to you, please? Thank you, Dr. Karen.
Today, and with a particular focus on activism against gender-based violence and sexual abuse. And I bring you the warmest of greetings from Chile, Cambridge, and the Centre of Applied Research on Trafficking, which I direct, and which includes within its work a network of academics across the world, law enforcement, and NGO, both policy advisors and some directors who convene annually in Tuscaloosa at various concern threats in trafficking. But of course, gender-based violence and sexual abuse has been a continuing layer inside global trafficking concerns. And I commend the First Ladies in profile political health, focused attention on issues arising around sexual violence and gender-based violence, which impacts people from everyday environments, online, face-to-face, in families, work settings, in public, in private, spaces where one thinks one should be safe, that women and girls should be absolutely safe and private. And this is an arena of deep the appalling, egregious, dehumanizing acts which this represents. They can take place in broad daylight, they can be happening under our very noses, in our streets, in our homes, in our schools, in our educational facilities, in our faith communities. And this is an area which this youthful community, set of communities, which is Nigeria, with 70% of the population described as youth, with a median age of 18, biggest percentage in the globe in terms of countries with youthful population. Pay attention to messaging that's going through to your youth, and understanding how this should be working out in terms of both parental advice, absolutely, all your Roma and Luri, and also working out in terms of perspectives with that girls in contemporary Nigeria. It is a really essential arena for you to be exploring, not to marry some of the wisdom of the past to the contemporary challenges that your young people are facing as they seek to build their futures and to build Nigeria's future. Legacy Roma and Luri, as also working out in terms of the perspectives between women and girls in contemporary Nigeria. It is a really essential arena for you to be exploring how to marry some of the wisdom of the past to the contemporary challenges that your young people are facing as they seek to build their futures and to build Nigeria's future.
That's all. That's all. That's all. That's all.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Karen. Thank you. May I please request that we have some silence at the back of this room. It's very distracting and very unbecoming. Ladies, please can we settle down in our seats and let's have a quiet time so that we have a productive event here today. Thank you. At this moment, I'd like to invite Her Excellency, the Ambassador of France to Nigeria, Ambassador Manuel Blackman, to please address the. Thank you.
Once again, I'd like to
Good morning, everybody. I know I was authorized to stand on existing protocol, but I would just mention Her Excellency Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdelrazak, First Lady of Kwara State, His Excellency Governor of Kwara State, my friend, and of course the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. He's kind of my minister also here as I'm an ambassador, so I feel I have to recognize you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me here. It's a true honor to stand before you today as a woman and as an ambassador for this 4th annual conference of the Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum, and also on the occasion of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. This is a very useful opportunity to remember and to recognize the 736 million women, actually nearly 1 in 3 throughout the world, who have been victims of physical and or sexual violence at least once in their life. Gender-based violence is not just a statistic, although numbers sometimes help us to better measure the reality. And you know, this year's theme of the campaign of 60 days was Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women. I'd like to mention a recent IMF study that was done in sub-Saharan Africa that shows that violence against women and girls poses a major threat to economic development. An increase in violence against women of 1 percentage point actually is associated with a 9% decline of the level of economic activity. The IMF
has estimated the global cost of violence against women, be it public, private, social throughout the world, at $1.5 trillion. Can we just imagine 1 second if that amount of money was used, invested in projects promoting the emancipation and the safety of women? What a difference it would make. Gender-based violence is a harsh reality that knows no cultural, economic, or social boundaries. It's a global scourge that demands everyone's attention. It is a violation of fundamental human rights and an obstacle to the progress of societies. And it's not just a women's issue, it's a social issue, a global one that requires the commitment of all people, whatever the age or the background. And as we work all together to end this pervasive violence, our focus must go beyond mere reaction. We must be proactive in addressing the root causes and fostering respect, equality, and empathy. And education plays a central role in this journey. This is why we at the French Embassy this year, we've chosen to work more particularly with several NGOs and institutions across the country, in Maiduguri, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, on raising awareness about gender-based violence, but with activities in schools and carried out with and by young boys and children. With awareness workshops, activities, artistic activities, and also platforms to free the voices of survivors. It is our responsibility also to amplify the voices of survivors and create safe spaces where they can share their stories without stigma. But we must also, and that's where education is important, we must also challenge societal norms and stereotypes that perpetuate gender-based violence in order to pave the way for a society in which people can flourish, whatever their gender. I'm firmly convinced that this change will come with the younger generations, with the youth allies you mentioned at the theme of this meeting. Their ambition to change the world, to make it a better one. So we must all help and support these new generations to stand up against injustice, defend equality, and to work towards a better world. My commitment and that of my country, France, to this cause is unwavering. But real change requires human and financial involvement from everyone. Governments, local governments, NGOs, communities, and above all, individuals. We must all work together to create policies that protect victims, prosecute perpetrators, and prevent violence. And to end, I would like to thank and commend and appreciate the Governor's Spouses Forum for what they do on a daily basis in all the states of Nigeria to make a real change against gender-based violence. Thank you very much.
Especially to do with the youth, important that we catch them young so that they will be the foot soldiers that will fight SGB. I'd like quickly to invite Her Excellency Ambassador Paulette Adobe Ekpe, the Ambassador of Nigeria. But I'd like to please plead that, ma'am, you have 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes. You have 1 minute, bless you. Please, let's welcome her very, very warmly.
Realization.
I understand the Minister of Women Affairs is here, Barrister Uju. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for being part of here. At this moment, it's important that we hear from the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So I'd like to invite His Excellency to please come to the podium and let's listen to you. And thereafter, we will continue quickly with the goodwill message. I want the applause to be loud. The energy and determination to be here deserves that.
Thank you very much. The chairman, the chairperson of the Governors Spouses Forum, our very own ambassador, Olaki Abdulrazak, my colleague, the Minister for Women Affairs, the wife of the Chief of Staff, members of the Governors Spouses Forum, our very
indefatigable ambassadors here present. There's so many of them, so you forgive me if I don't go through all of them. We appreciate you. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to welcome you to the 4th annual conference of the Nigeria Government Sponsors Forum, an annual conference that was constituted in 2020 as an avenue to address gender-based violence in Nigeria. Please permit me to thank the conference organizers for inviting me to participate in this event and deliver a message of goodwill on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria. This year's conference theme is Youth Allies, Bridging Generations to End Violence. Violence in its various forms continues to cast a dark shadow over communities worldwide. It is an adversary that knows no borders, respects no age, and disregards the sanctity of life. Yet, in the face of such adversity, there lies an untapped potential and strength within the youth, a force that, when harnessed and guided, can dismantle the foundations of violence and pave the way for lasting peace. The Youth Allies concept goes beyond mere collaboration. It signifies a bond, partnership between generations. It was a call to action for the older generation to stand shoulder to shoulder with the youth, recognizing and valuing their perspectives, dreams, and the unique energy they bring to the table. It is a call for the youth to engage with wisdom and to learn from the experiences of those who have walked the path before them. Bridging the generational gap is not just a noble endeavor, but a pragmatic and necessary one. It involves creating space where dialogue flows freely, ideas are exchanged without prejudice, and the collective wisdom past converges with the untamed creativity of the future. Through this synergy, we can cultivate the culture of understanding, tolerance, and empathy. The very antidotes to the poison of violence, especially gender-based violence. Our youth, armed with passion and an unyielding belief in a better world, have the power to change the narrative against gender-based violence. However, they need the guidance of those who have weathered storms and emerged more robust on the other side. The wisdom of the older generation acts as a compass, guiding the youth through the complexities of life and helping them navigate the turbulent waters of society's challenges. Conversely, this fresh perspective, innovation, and fearlessness from the youth inject new life into our communities. They challenge our outdated norms, question unjust systems, and inspire us to envision a world where violence is but a distant memory. Together as allies, the youth and the older generation can create a formidable force of positive change. In conclusion, let us embrace the idea that we're not separate entities, but interconnected threads in the rich tapestry of humanity. Let us commit ourselves to fostering an environment where the wisdom, age, and the vigor converge to build a world free from violence. As we stand united, generation to generation, as youth allies, we can create a brighter future for all by declaring that violence against one is violence against one. But beyond this speech, let me say that with so many diplomats here, and also, of course, the chairperson of the Sponsors Forum being an ambassador, that the field of international relations itself was created to fight, to stop violence, to end wars. And within that purpose of study of international relations, you have many schools, many paradigms, realists, constructivists, and importantly, feminists. So the work that women have been doing to end violence goes beyond just gender violence, but it has to do with the human endeavor towards ending wars as a whole. And we have to commend so many scholars in that field, Jean Becker, Einstein, the diplomats here know about that. And we thank you for the good work you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Women in the room, can you please applaud yourselves for the good job you do providing emotional cushion at home, ensuring that together we will fight and eliminate violence in any form. We're moving forward, and this time we'd like to bring on our own that we cherish and we're very proud of. We're talking about Her Excellency, the Deputy Secretary General, United Nations, our own Amina J. Mohammed, online. Can we please welcome her warmly? And before that comes on, I'd also like to recognize that we have with us Hajia Maria Tambuo, former chair of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. The continuity that the forum gives is the fact that you have Hajia Tambuo here, you have, before she left, Iridu, and then you have Her Excellency Ambassador Olufolake Abdulrazak. We're waiting for that online message from Her Excellency, the Deputy Secretary General, United Nations.
Only first lady, first lady. There's online, there's I will have, yes, that we're expecting. Okay, they don't send that.
And Your Excellencies, all very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, would like to have a remark from the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister June Kennedy, to address us now. Might be having a technical issue and get back to that message we do. But for now, welcome with me the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. His Excellency.
Yep.
Chairperson of the Governors Forum, the Governor of Kwara. I thank you, sir. Welcome. Her Excellency, the wife of the Kwara State Governor, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, all the distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all the ladies and the he for she's. I thank you all. Thank you so much.
I have to start saying one thing here first. I said to my sister, let me not cry while saying this because I'm quite very emotional when it comes to this particular topic. We're talking about violence. Somehow, a man sitting down here has already done 70% in solving these problems we are talking about. Because when I came in as the minister, a lot of money, hundreds, millions of dollars have been spent in advocacy meetings to end violence against women. It was not working because there was no justice. Anything you don't have an end to it towards justice, there's no way you can solve that problem, no matter how much you spend. So they'll be wasting the money, not knowing that it wouldn't solve the problem. But today, as we speak, the governor of Kwara State has given us approval through Governors Forum for a mobile court to address these issues. I think we need to clap, we need to stand up and beg him. Stand up and show this man gratitude. Show him what he has done for us. That's a major thing for she. And I'm so grateful, and I know the women are so grateful. The children are so grateful. I don't know, I love words to express this. Let me tell you something. When I wrote that letter, he called an emergency meeting, which will tell you that he's been after what will happen to make sure women are okay. And when other governors, a lot of them could not make it to come together, they did made it visual. And I was able to do my presentation. In less than a week, I got a letter. Please, can we clap for him again? Women, make some noise for him. Make some noise, I beg. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, with the mobile court, trust me, we solve most of our problems. It's even good we just shout it out for people to just know that the mobile court is on the way, very close by. So nobody will tell them what it's supposed to do. That will put an end to violence against women and children, violence against gender. Because when you know you do it, there is a consequences. Would you want to commit such crime? No. So we're heading on. Another thing, like my brother, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, mentioned here, that is not just only about violence against women, that women do a lot of other things to bring peace in the nation, bring peace in the world. That is why we have, as we speak today, I'm sure some of you heard when I challenged the United Nations, and everybody thought it was a mistake. Some people thought it was a mistake. But United Nations did not think it was a mistake because they understood where Nigeria was coming from. And in the meeting at Tanzania and Addis Ababa, it was adopted that from now on we'll be asking for accountability of monies they bring in the name of any country, especially African country. So that is what we've adopted officially. I'm going to do a letter to Governors Forum. I will do a letter to the president. I'm actually sending the letter tomorrow to each and every one of the groups. I will probably do a letter to the Governors Spouses Forum. What could I do without you people? If they had said no, they would have convinced their husbands not to give us approval. Don't you think so? But because they supported us, that was why their husbands equally approved what we need to save ourselves. They said you fight for yourself before people can fight for you. That is the major thing. So now, from what was adopted in the United Nations, what it means now is that we can ask for accountability. Don't be afraid to ask. What will happen if you ask? If people are bringing money, you're not seeing the impact, and you still keep quiet, that means you want it to continue. If you don't want it to continue, you speak out. I keep telling the media people, instead of looking for people to criticize, speak out on issues, ask questions. That is the major media you need to save your nation. We must all come together. All hands must be on deck to serve this nation, especially now we have a listening president and a committed one who wants the nation to move forward. Like what he said, allow the poor to breathe. The only way to allow the poor to breathe is for all of us to come together and save our nation so that the poor will breathe. So no more, less of advocacy now and more of sustainable empowerment. And when we empower our women, any woman you empower 20 people. So when we empower our women, we give them voices. And when they have voice, that will make them say no to certain things that they don't like. And if you insist, they sue you to court. They have money to do that when they're empowered. So these are the major things we are organizing ourselves, which is already on the pipeline. We are coming to each of these states to organize. And I'm pleading with you, if you know the meetings you have in your villages, please tell them to organize themselves and send their list to the Ministry of Women Affairs. Because we want to turn them to cooperatives to be able to empower them as a group and enable them to make money. And now we have a portal where we're going to register all these people. When we do that, whatever they are producing, that we will help them give them the machines to do that. We will market it for them through the portal and they get their monies directly. So please send the message across. I wish I could speak more, but this woman has been here. This woman has been standing beside me, choking me needle. It's okay, you know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, and your commitment to empowering Nigerian women with financial support. And moving forward, we need to address the issue of violence against women, Nigerian women, children, particularly the youth. Yes, we are where we should be at this moment. And I'm standing here as a very proud Kwara woman. Kwara has shown the capability of Nigerian women. Kwara's government has demonstrated that Nigerian women have the capability to be on the same table with their men on equal basis. And that's why my governor matches his words with action. It's a proud moment for us, even as we surge ahead to eliminate collaboratively any form of violence against women and children. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for what you're doing, matching words with action. It is on this premise and humility and honor of being a Kwara myself, bona fide Kwara. I'd like to invite the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and the executive governor of Kwara State, the #1 he or she, His Excellency Malam Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, to address us. I think he deserves all the love, although you know that for him it doesn't matter. Thank you. Thank you for making us very proud women. Women are supported.
Excellency, First Lady of Kwara State, Chairperson of Nigerian Governors Forum. First of all, Professor Lufulaka. Excellency, the First Lady of the State of Nigeria. Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madam Secretary. Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Mr. At this point, let's start an existing protocols while recognizing members of the diplomatic corps, development partners, top government functionaries, distinguished
ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting the gentlemen of the rest. On behalf of my brothers and colleagues from the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGSF, I congratulate Your Excellencies of the Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum on your fun annual conference. The success of the previous conferences have clearly enough the strength of your advocacies and the impressive outcomes so far. We acknowledge your commitment to vigorously tackle gender-based violence and other unhealthy practices. We acknowledge and pledge our continued support for this important task of not just ending all gender-based violence, but also ensuring a society that is fair and just. Together, we must work for an equitable society. Notwithstanding the achievements of the past, we're excited by the theme of this year's conference, Youth Allies, Bridging Generation Impact. The theme officially brings into this discussion the most important outspoken cohorts who holds a key to many breakthroughs in our efforts to build a sustainable and safe society. The National Youth Policy of 2019 defines youth to cover the persons within the age bracket of 15 to 29. The interesting thing is that this important demography is entirely digital community, variously called digital natives or virtual natives, depending on the year of birth. These folks have their particular culture and preferences, including their preferred media of learning. Our effort to bring them into the national conversation on gender-based violence should be taken into consideration, and also the views be co-opted as well. How do we navigate the complexities of the internet age and the new media to guide our young ones to own the campaign against all forms of violence? The older generation must be deliberate in blending our understanding of various phenomena with our own beliefs and approaches to such issues. That way, we can get them to form this campaign, and deploy effectively the digital skills to make it work. Regardless, we believe that Nigerian governors, spouses for has over the years played key roles in helping to drive the national narrative around the issue of gender-based violence, gender parity, women, and girl-child empowerment. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this year's conference is another success story that is successful. We believe that the forum and all of us will rise from this conference better equipped to constitute a campaign for more effective and inclusive society. A society that is all inclusive. Now, when I got the invitation to this event, the first thing I noticed was the changing of my culture to Nigerian Governors Spouses Forum. This clearly indicates that, well, you're ready for men to join this club. We look forward to fruitful deliberations, and thank you very much.
Does he deserve a very loud round of applause? You see, when you have a solid, feminine background, it stays with you permanently. His mother was a counselor in those days when women are only seen and not heard. And you can see the impact of him today. Again, another round of applause for the Kwara State Governor, His Excellency, the Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum. At this point, we're going to have group photographs here. Then we'll have our tea break before we return to the plenary. And our panelists are here. We thank you all for standing in and sitting in there. We thank all our dignitaries from governors' wives, members of the Nigerian community that are here, wife of also the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, the former ministers here present, former chairperson of the Nigerian Governors Forum. Can I please have somebody to move this podium? Can I have somebody please to move this podium so that the pictures will be taken here? First, we'll have members of the high table, then we'll have all your excellencies, wives of the executive governors and first ladies, and then we have all our panelists as well. But let's quickly start. Please, I would invite Her Excellency to leave the high table. Thank you. All right, can we have the high table on the ground foyer? And then we'll have the other first ladies can please take the steps and be on the podium here. Please. The way to it is on my far left, because this ground floor will not contain us all. Can some of us go up, please? Yes, yes. Some of us can go up. You want them all done? Thank you. Can we have the panelists, please? Can we have the panelists and members of the diplomatic corps? The panelists and members of the diplomatic corps, please. Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Can we have members of the diplomatic corps? Members of the diplomatic corps and the panelists. Your Excellencies, can we have the panelists and members of the diplomatic corps and our development partners? Yes, yes, Your Excellency. Thank you so much. Our development partners and the panelists. Thank you very much. Our development partners, thank you. Yes.
just. Even never. Shock you. Shock you. You never want to know. What about the different? I bet don't shoot the four. The four. The four, man. That side. Don't do it. You know why? That side. For that one, that side. Try this. Huh? I not be now. When I go to break. Just leave her. Don't worry. That keep. You see, you see this your keep. What? But how? But you know, power is one. It's just like if you get car, when you go to car, 65 amp.
We thank you all,
You carry your car.
this is a 1 to 2 break.
But if you
Go get your
change
tea
your
and bring
battery,
it to the
you need to
table.
go to
We'll
75 amp.
continue with the conference. At the moment, I'd like to have our first panel, which is the Youth Alliance. I'd like to bring on Ademola Williams, Africa Power Girls.
So when I did plug and go see that color.
Ademola Williams, Africa Power Girls.
I change and I bring plenty people. I change.
Chika Ruli, Gender Officer UN Women. Aisha Shuaibu, Power Football.
No.
Kelechi Ikude, GBB Ambassador. Banke Kuku, Women Advocate. Hajia Hadiza Baba, UNICEF Child Protection, and Ms. Risikat Aziz, who is the survivor. Your Excellencies, all very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, can we all settle in, take your tea, and bring your tea back to the hall so that we can continue. I'd like to invite Ademola Williams, Angela Cecilia Ruli, Gender Officer UN Women, Aisha Shuaibu, Power Football, Kelechi Ikude, GBB Ambassador, Banke Kuku, Women's Advocate, Hajia Hadiza Haba, UNICEF Child Protection, and Ms. Missy Cat, Aziz, which is the right. Yes. Please, can all our panelists please take your seats, and can we welcome them most warmly? And the hall, and you can listen to me, our youth, our women of today for our better tomorrow, and taking their seats. Please let's welcome them very warmly.
Now you ask for buy back.
But applause is not good enough to encourage these young women who are going to be sharing with us experiences and the way forward. Your Excellency, Lord, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like now to invite Her Excellency Mrs. Gloria Deering, First Lady Bayelsa State, who will be moderating this session. First Lady Zamfara State. First Lady Zamfara State, who will be moderating this session.
Yes.
Hajia Ruya Dauda Lawal. Please let's welcome her very warmly. She will be moderating this event. Again, as she steps on, I'd like to invite Angela Zisiga Muruli, Aisha Shuaibu, Kelechi Anikude, Banke Kuku, Priskat Aziz, who is a survivor, and of course, our nominated, Her Excellency Hajia Ruya Dauda Lawal, First Lady of Zamfara State. Thank you very much. I guess your microphone to the side. That's what just switch on to moderator ask. I'll hand over to the moderator now. You have 50 minutes counting from now.
I'd like to stand on the existing protocol, but permit me to especially recognize the presence of our chair, the Governor's Wives, Governor's Houses Forum, Ambassador Olufalaki Abdulrazak, and her ever-encouraging husband, Governor of Kwara State.
Okay.
My amiable commissioners, distinguished guests, and everyone present here today. And I would like to say a big thank you for joining us. My name is Hajia Maria Dauda Lawal, wife of the Governor of Zamfara State, and I'll be your moderator today. Now our conversation flow freely. I'd like to add that we allow our panelists to speak at a time without interruption from other panelists. And at the end of the session, the audience will be given a chance to ask them.
Okay.
The theme for today's panel session is Youth Allies Bridging Generations to End Violence. But before we go further, I would like to ask all the panelists to please introduce themselves, starting from my.
Hello. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, Your Excellencies. It's such an honor and privilege to be here today. My name is Aisha Shuaibu. I am a multifaceted entrepreneur. I run 3 different companies made up of food and beverage business here in Abuja, a brand development agency, and a sports marketing agency.
Thank you. Afternoon to everyone. I would like to start by thanking the organizers for inviting me to be part of this panel. My name is Ibrahim Abba. I am a child protection specialist minister. I'm based here in Abuja. Gender-based violence.
afternoon. Yes, my name is Angela Machiavelli. I work for young women as a technical experience officer on our enterprise and girls, and I'm also the convener and founder of Finding Their Network for Black Women in International Affairs. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests. Thank you so much for having us here. A special thank you to Her Excellency, Mrs. Blackie Abdul-Razak. This is an amazing space to be in and such a great conversation to have today. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Blackie Kuku. I'm a fashion designer and a women's advocate. I support everything women and my brand supports the power of women. Thank you.
I'd like to start with the general question for all the members. At this time, we'll be starting still from my left. Thank you so much for your Can you briefly share with us your engagements, initiatives, or projects that you have done or are currently working on in addressing SGB?
Thank you very much. So I work in the sports sector, and one would think that working in sports doesn't have a correlation with gender-based violence, but that's not the case. Sports is actually one of those industries where many women are susceptible to abuse, misogyny, discrimination, and all sorts that demean them. So the work that I do makes sure that we create an environment where we do community engagements with both men and women to educate them on the importance of empowerment through sports. Sports also provides a safe environment for young women to feel stronger, to express themselves, to have both a physical and a mental, a stable physical and mental health. And I have to also commend Her Excellency, the First Lady of Kwara State, who champions the rights of women and youth through her foundation, the Educate People Support Center, that actually pioneers the development of women and youth, and it has been a huge source of inspiration for the work that we do. So we model off that and many others.
Thank you very much. So UNICEF is part of big global programs that is one of the biggest global programs on addressing gender-based violence and harmful practices. One on ending female genital mutilation, and then another addressing violence against women and girls, which we're doing in collaboration with other and of course, working with the lead of government and women's rights organizations, civil society, and community actors to address gender-based violence. And we work across key areas of addressing, preventing violence, as well as providing support through services for survivors of violence, including girls at risk. And I think it's important, since the theme for this conference is in relation to bridging the gap and working with young people, to note that whilst UNICEF works to safeguard the rights of children, protecting them from violence, exploitation, neglect, and abuse, I have to say that there's been increasingly a shift in working more with young people, not as subject matters, but actually as actors in the program. And it's important to also note, like, the work that we do around prevention, that young people have come as allies, working and using their innovation, their potential, which UNICEF has been supporting and harnessing it to increase awareness around gender-based violence, about the consequences and its impact, issues related to promoting positive masculinities, to address these harmful norms that actually create an environment that is not safe for children. So by working with young people, we have actually tremendously broadened our reach and the size of the impact, and also like in young people, catching them young, as we say. Thank you.
Next to recognize presence is a very powerful, resilient, and beautiful Miss Rizika. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So just to add to what my colleague Peter said, we work UN Women on part of the largest initiative around ending violence against women and girls, that's the EU UN Spotlight Initiative, and some of the initiatives that we see now, the establishment of one-stop centers, which provide essential services for survivors. Many of them, unfortunately, are young children, between 0 to 18 years old, but we're very thrilled that with the support of this Council Forum, and only last week we launched the Missouri Center in Ebony State, and I'd like to acknowledge the presence of their excellency and support in establishing that center, as well as all the other first agencies who are pushing that forward. A lot of our work also looks at second chance education. So how do we ensure that once survivors access essential services, they have the opportunity to have financial autonomy and to fully recover. So our second chance programs, over 15,000 girls have gone through them with the support of UNICEF, UNESCO, UNDP. So this is some of the things we've been championing. But also just to recognize the work of our traditional rulers who we've been working with the Ford Foundation, the importance of addressing harmful social norms. So that's one of the work that really pushing and championing. And then finally, I can also just touch on, as my fellow panelists mentioned, how pervasive violence is and the peculiarities of violence. So some of the work we've also been doing this year being an electoral year, ensuring that we address violence in elections, violence in the workplace, how do we ensure that we look at all the corners of society to ensure that we have a holistic targeted approach. So that's some of the ways that you're address violence.
So as well as donating to charities, such as the Maribel Foundation, which is actually the first section of representing Nigeria. Bank Kuku really empowers women feel comfortable. Body positivity. We promote an environment where people share their stories as well, both online and offline. That's important.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. I'm here to interpret on behalf of the Blue Eyed Lady. We could recall around COVID-19, there was an opera about her, and here she was a survivor. So she's here to share a story, how she transitioned from being a victim to being a survivor. Arábìnrin Risikat Abdulwasili, ǹjẹ́ o lè sọ fún wa nípa bí o ṣe la ìpèníjà gẹ́gẹ́ bí obìnrin nílé ọkọ rẹ̀ kọjá títí di àkókò yìí? Ǹjẹ́ o lè sọ bí o ṣe la ìpèníjà kọjá pẹ̀lú ojú gbogbo rògbòdìyàn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nílé nípa ojú tó dára tí Ọlọ́run kọ ẹ̀? Ǹjẹ́ o lè sọ fún wa ní ṣókí gbogbo ìpèníjà tó bá rí?
Nígbà tí mo bí àwọn ọmọ mi, tí mo bí àkọ́kọ́ tí mo bí ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀gbẹ̀ta tí wọ́n ń jọ mí, àwọn méjì ní irú ibi tí mo ní so mo ní problem lórí ọkọ mi pé àwọn family ọkọ mi wọ́n gbé òbí tì í débi pé wọ́n máa ń dá ọkọ mi sí pé ó lé mi jáde wípé irú ojú wo ló ń bí kalẹ̀ yìí wọ́n lè jáde àwọn láìpẹ́ ojú báyìí so ojú yẹn kan máa ń dá ẹ̀kọ́ pa ìwé náà nínú pé kí ló dé bí jẹ́ fún mi nìkan ni mo ní irú ojú ẹ̀ mo tún wá gbé àwọn ọmọ náà wọ́n lè jọ wáyé ìwé tí àwọn family ọkọ mi lọ́rùn wọ́n mọ ọkọ mi sílẹ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ tí wọ́n ti ń bọ̀ sí wípé ó lè jáde àwọn lẹ́yìn ojú tí mi olójú mi àwọn ọmọ tí ń bí kalẹ̀ ọkọ mi náà pé ó ṣèjì nínú ilé kò wálé mọ́ pé kò jẹ kalẹ̀ mọ́ kò sí ìtọ́jú kò sí kankan pé àti nínú ilé ó nira nípa èso mo sáà ń tẹ́kì àwọn ọmọ mi mo ti ràkà àti tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ mi so tí mo bá lọ sí family house àwọn ọkọ mi láti lọ sọ pé mi rí ọkọ mi tó wálé wọ́n máa sọ fún mi pé ṣèbí náà làwọn pè yìí ó lè sọ pé òun wà òkè kí ló fẹ́ káwọn ṣe so títí mo ṣàbẹ̀wò padà wá ní ọ̀dọ̀ wa nígbà yìí mo ló wà ní abẹ́rẹ́ sí lọ́dọ̀ wa mi ò rí family ọkọ kan béèrè mi so tó wá di pé àsìkò COVID-19 ọdún COVID-19 tí lady kan orúkọ lady yẹn jẹ́ Oyèdàmọ́lá tó wá sí ibi láti wá kí òun lórí ọmọ mi kékeré yẹn tó ń ṣe ló bá gbé mọ́ra ó bá ká fáyín gan ó dẹ̀ láìkí ọmọ yìí ó bá gbé mọ́ra bá ń ya fọ́tò fún bá ṣe àwọn yẹn bá ní àníkó ló ti mọ̀ ẹ́ ló kò mọ̀ ẹ́ ó kàn láìkí ojú ẹ̀ ni òun ti ń ya fọ́tò àwọn yẹn bá ní ṣé ojú yìí tó yẹ pé torí ojú yìí ni bàbá rẹ̀ ṣe ilé ìyá rẹ̀ kúlé àti àbúrò rẹ̀ kódà ìyá rẹ̀ náà ní ewu rẹ̀ kò ní kẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ wá fi ya fọ́tò wa ó wá pósìtì pé orí ojú yìí ṣe ní ìyá rẹ̀ kúlé.
So she said, due to the color of her iris, she's called the blue eye lady because the color of her iris is blue. It's a beautiful feature if you ask me. But then she faced a lot of discrimination, criticism. In fact, she was being referred to as cat's eye. And then the situation got worse when she started birthing her children, and they came with the blue eyes as well. And then the family, her in-law, turned against her, and then turned her husband against her. And due to pressure, the husband abandoned her, abandoned the children, couldn't support them at all. He went missing in action. And she tried all she could. She would meet with the family, talk to my husband and all of that. And right in her presence, to call the husband and then find out how he was doing. And then once they're sure that he's doing fine, they turned to her and that's why he's doing fine, so everything is okay. And she was left to tend to her children all by herself. When the pressure became too much, of course, she's just a woman, a young lady, 2 kids. She had to return to her family house. And luckily for her, the work was out with both hands. And she stayed with her family for a year and a half with no support from her in-law and her husband. And as they say, luck would strike. On a particular day, a woman called Oyinda came to pray at a mosque close to where they were living, and then sighted one of her children and was just enamored by what she saw. And she asked for permission to take a picture of her and her kids. And the people around were surprised. What's so fascinating about the blue eye is because of this that she's not even dating her husband. She's faced a lot of backlash and being referred to as a cat eye lady. So the lady took the picture, and if you recall, it was all over the internet at the time. And that's how we got to know about her.
Thank you so much for your answers. Very different all the initiatives have ongoing to address sexual and gender-based violence. It's time to let me start to address our theme. In what ways can you
In what ways can education, generational dialogue, and collaboration be promoted to combat violence?
Intergenerational dialogue is really important for how survivors to share their stories, which is a way of educating. And it's also a way where the older generation can mentor the younger generation conflict resolution, in helping them build their confidence, in avoiding situations. So it's really about building dialogue with
What role education and awareness play in empowering youth to become allies?
Okay. I don't have to calculate here.
On to Mrs. Aisha.
I don't have to. You see, Dr.
How do we
Kelechi.
ensure that the voices and perspective of the youth are effectively integrated?
She's not already talked for now. Not
processes.
what's your color?
I think the conversations that are being had on this panel is a starting point. More conversations have to be had. The opinions and the voices of youth, particularly women, need to be heard because nobody knows of our situation more than us and nobody can help us more than us. I think we need to have a lot more bravery among us to feel like our opinions are relevant enough and to also share personal experiences while also urging the public sector and our leaders to trust in us to know what we feel is best and to not necessarily consider Nigerian youth or women as people that are not knowledgeable enough or experienced enough or not worthy of being heard. So it's in creating avenues and opportunities for you to be included and heard. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that this forum and this gathering always advocates, at least for every year that I've attended this event, every year creates opportunities for youth and women to be heard of all ages and backgrounds and experiences, which is incredible. So I would just urge that we continue and we also continue to support one another and create an environment where everyone feels seen and heard. And we take those conversations and those matters all the way to the top of the social.
Next question. Could you share with us your journey as a survivor of gender-based violence and how you have coped with the aftermath?
Arábìnrin Risikat, kí ni àwọn nǹkan tí ó jẹ́ kí o tètè la ìpèníjà náà kọjá? Lára gbogbo rògbòdìyàn, kí ni àwọn nǹkan tó jẹ́ kó tètè la ìpèníjà náà kọjá?
Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá mi tẹ gbogbo ẹ̀kọ́ àtàrà ṣe mo dúpẹ́. Ní ìgbà tí lédi Oyídàmọ́lá ìrìnà tí lédi yẹn kú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ló wá. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin gọ́ọ̀nà, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin gbogbo ẹ̀yin first lady Nàìjíríà, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin first lady Nàìjíríà, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín gbogbo support mi lórí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wá sílé wa, wọ́n wá bá wa parí ìjà wa, wọ́n sì wá wọ́n fún mi ní nǹkan. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ìyá wa Alákẹ́ Abdulrasaq, first lady of Kwara State. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn fún support tí wọ́n support mi lórí abiyamọ ni wọ́n. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ tí ń múra láàrin àwọn òkú àyè dípò pọ̀ ọ̀nà tí wọ́n bá wà wọ́n ní dáhùn. Ní ìgbà nígbà yẹn wọ́n sì ṣọ́ọ̀bù fún mi. Wọ́n gba ilé 2 bedroom flat later gbé. Recently, wọ́n ṣẹ̀ ti sanwó 3 years fún wa. Àwọn ọmọ mi wọ́n lọ sùn ní rọrùn, àwọn tó ń tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ mi ti náà. Ìgbà tí wọ́n ṣe fún mi pọ̀, bẹ́ẹ̀ pé mi lè rẹ́tí tán, àwọn ọ̀sán tí mo rẹ́tí níbẹ̀ yóò bá ní mo sọ yẹn. Ọlọ́wọ́ wọn, wọ́n ṣeun gan-an. Ọlọ́run nígbà mo ti wọ́n náà.
I don't have expressions. I don't understand that. Just very grateful to Dr.
So just for the benefit of those who do not understand Yoruba, she said with the swift intervention of the First Lady of Kwara State Ambassador Professor Olufalake Abdulrahman, she came to her rescue, and it wasn't only about supporting her financially, it was about trying to mesh families back together, which is a testament to what sensitization can do, which is a testament to what awareness, enough awareness can do. So a lot of awareness, not a lot of sensitization went into the process, especially with our in-laws and how to take away the discrimination and the stigmatization. And then with that came the support. She housed them and still housing them. She just recently paid for at least 3 years for her, and her children attend one of the best schools in Kwara State. And then she was set up. So she had something to do. And you know, when you have an empowered woman, so much, there's no limit to what she can do. So she's thriving very well, all thanks to the intervention of the First Lady of Kwara State.
Next question. How can we break down the stereotypes and biases that sometimes divide generations during our ability to work together?
Thank you very much. This question was partly already answered by the previous dialogue and the power of reflective dialogue, having that exchange and open and honest, unconstrained manner where you have the older generation speak to the younger generation, particularly within the context of communities. Maybe when we don't invite the regular families, this is not unusual, but when we look at the rural areas, the communities where there is space for parents to have dialogues with their children, mothers. It's really important to have parenting programs that lead the younger and the older generation to be able to tackle some of the core issues, causes and the drivers of some of these practices. And as we know, gender-based violence is a behavioral issue primarily. So if you have communities have these avenues of engagement, and part of what you support, as part of work that we do in prevention, we develop community engagement tools, which allow communities to have this to facilitate discussions, and not just between the generations, but between men to men, between community leaders, traditional religious leaders, the key influential custodians of culture, have a huge impact when it comes to some of these practices.
Thank you so much for that question. So for me, I started my own journey as a young activist by hosting an event in my university. I received a small grant for women's rights organization, and that allowed me to go to my university about gentle mutilation. So I think the first thing that young people can do is take initiative, opportunity to be a voice within their community, wherever sphere of influence they have, whether it's university, whether it's a church, whether it's a mosque, they should take those opportunities and create their own initiative. You don't see something that speaks to your needs, create something that speaks to your needs. That's what I would say firstly. And then I would also say that for UN Women and our colleagues at UNESCO, UNICEF, we work a lot with tertiary universities, established Lagos State as a shining example of related gender-based violence protocols, which are led by women, but also practiced. So for young people, leadership structures, whether that's a student union, just speaking from experience in my country of Kenya, all those people who were in student unions and people who are now government, so it's important for young people to grasp these opportunities, structures, and show their leadership through these initiatives. And that's one way that I can do. And then finally, I would just say that you shouldn't underestimate the power of their voice. Areva Me Too, Justice for Uwa, those were led by young women, by young Nigerians. So if you see an issue, don't be afraid to speak truth to power. In a sense, for the sake of your voice, but still use your power, use your platform, whether it's digital, speak truth to power. That's one way to show that we can actually drive the justice.
What ways can we engage
I think to the work that we do in sports, one of the avenues to do that is to organize programs, especially for the programs that we opportunities with the first. Sports is one of those tools that is such a huge tool for unifying and promoting wellness, peace, putting togetherness, teamwork, discipline. And when we invest in these programs that connect activity to education, we're able to see the benefits of it in the way that it relates in the way that it connects what it does to the personal development as well. I think that when women or when young girls at a very early age through sports get the support of the male counterparts, whether it's in teamwork activities, team bonding, whatever it is with the sports, we're able to see that affirmation and that support, build them up and lead them to be a non-struggle, and even among the girls themselves. Sports is one of those environments that really the strange ones among us together and those that don't really feel like especially when you grow up with different it's an opportunity to come together and feel like a part of a family and like your home. So I would say that we need to introduce more programs in our schools that promote this, especially from the public school level, because at the core of it, the bulk of Nigeria define the public school completely out of it. But if at the state level we can begin to introduce these programs to get our
I don't make them people the same to me.
stronger, mentally stronger, we will see a change in the rhythm.
He's the host. You can do anything you want to see. He's the host. He's the one that you want to access to anything, video, is mute. He's the one. Yes. You can see he's the host.
Social media.
He's the host.
Right. Because we create an environment.
They never give a chance. Nine people, if you want to talk now,
quite anonymously. So social media campaigns can promote education. Share their experiences, and these can be also called to action.
So if you want to
also
watch it online,
able to reach a large audience, you're able to mobilize
On that note, having Dr. Kelechi join us via goes to Dr. Kelechi. What are the effective ways to encourage older generations to actively listen and to learn from the ideas of experiences of youth regarding violence prevention?
It's on mute.
I hope he is.
How to check his video now?
Just told us that he's on live, but he's having technical difficulties.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you need to unmute yourself and video.
Can you hear me?
He should be able to hear. He has been hearing it. He has been hearing it.
Apologize for not recognizing
Hello?
the presence of my mentor.
You see, he's the host. There's a link.
Hello, can you hear me?
I had a post of education and learning from so I wanted to share a few things from that state as well.
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm here.
Kelechi not your host. He's the host. Yes, he has the control. He has the key.
Survivors of gender-based and allowing statistics. As a result, the administration led by my husband have already gazetted a law to stop and mitigate occurrences with media. Not most of it as well. So we have Kelechi. This question is for you. What are the effective ways to encourage older generations to actively listen and learn from the ideas and experiences of youth regarding violence prevention?
Then the camera también.
Hello?
Dr. Kelechi, can you hear?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Oh, thank you very much. So sorry, I couldn't make it to the event. I had to join virtually. I'm happy to join you guys. And thank you for having me. Please, can you repeat your question?
What are the effective ways to encourage older generations to actively listen and learn from the ideas and experiences of youth regarding violence prevention?
If I get you correct, you say what are the ways to advise older people against violence prevention?
Actively listen and learn from the ideas and experiences of youth. Yes. To encourage older generations.
Sorry, I can't hear you clearly. So sorry about this.
I'll repeat the question. What are the effective ways to encourage older generations to actively listen and learn from the ideas and experiences of youth regarding violence prevention?
Can someone type something for me? I can't even hear properly.
Ask you another question.
Okay, I can't hear properly.
What role do education and awareness play in empowering youth to become allies in ending violence?
So sorry, someone in the hall is typing the question for me. I'll react to it, so I can't really hear you properly. So what role do education and awareness play to empower youth to become allies in ending violence? Yeah, education and awareness are key components in empowering the youth. I mean, most of the youth were on social media these days, and creating awareness about, domestic violence, gender-based violence is key. I, for one, as much as I have a PhD, I'm a doctor in engineering. I also create content and awareness about gender-based violence. I think the other day I did one about consent and trying to educate men about, the need to, seek consent and to be given consent before any sexual activity. For rape cases, they are high and conviction rates are low. So we need to, advocate about these and educate people on ways to, act accordingly and respectfully. I'm aware of a case, for instance, in Imo State recently. That's the state I'm from, and the suspects ran away from Oji police station. And we need the security agencies to be allies in this fight. It's not good enough that things like this, convictions are low. For instance, we have the VAP law now in so many states, and still there's the lack of implementation. So a lot of things need to happen from, yes, the young side, but from the government side, to put mechanisms in place to fight this scourge.
I would like to thank each one of you for attending this conference here today. I would like to say thank you to the Nigerian Spouses Forum for putting this together. I would like to also say a massive thank you to our panelists. Thank you for sharing your work, your passion, and your experience here with us today. And of course, a huge thank you to our lovely audience. Thank you for being so patient through this session. I trust that we have learned new things here and that our commitment to ending sexual, gender-based violence has been further strengthened. I want to encourage us all to keep speaking up, keep using technology and our social media tools to push the message, keep pushing for more and more people to be educated, and that the voices of our youth integrated into the policy and decision making process. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. My name is Maria.
Thank you indeed, and thank you, panelists. And a special thank you for our survivor that has shared her experience with us. We do hope that that experience is for more people and support more people. I don't want to use the word victimized, but experience some measure of violence. Thank you. Please move back to the seats. Our photographers here and like a quick picture with you. As we get ready for the next the picture can be taken here. Thank you. Thank you for the cooperation. I'd like to invite the chairman. While that's going on, the next item on the program is presentation, signing of MOU and state action plan between Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum and UNICEF. May I please invite the UNICEF representative who will be signing on the chairperson of the Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum to join me at this table. Yeah, we are expecting the UNICEF country representatives in a moment. And of course, there will be another endorsement of call to action on SGB collaboration with UN Women. We'll have the first one, signing of the MOU and state action plan between NGSF and UNICEF.